Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Adkup Show. Today, we are diving deep into what the global economy might look like if the United States no longer holds the reins as the world's economic superpower. So, without wasting much time, let's try to unpack the scenario. All right, let's set the scene. The US has been the economic heavyweight for decades. Its dollar, the backbone of global trade. Its policies shaping international economics. But, what if that changes? Recent data suggests that shifts are already happening. Donald Trump's tariffs, trade barriers, and many other things are proof that now America is no longer the country which once it used to be. We are witnessing a decline in every parameter. China standing at about $30 trillion compared to US, that is $25 trillion. This doesn't mean China has taken over, but it's a clear sign of changing dynamics. Well, to be fair, it's not just about economics. The US is witnessing radical decline even in its socio-political discourse. There is a massive discontent among citizens for different reasons. Now, according to many analysts, this discontent is seen for the first time in society. Even during the civil rights movement in 1960s, when America lost a lot of its soft power, well, that was also the era of Cold War. Anyways, so even during that time, there was an overall growth. But now it looks like the empire is on inevitable decline. Now, it's very difficult to predict what will new order look like, but one thing is for sure, there won't be one sole superpower. Moreover, we might witness just nothing after Pax Americana. China's contact with the rest of the world has only been limited to trade. They don't have any aspirations or desire to go around the world lecturing countries about different ideologies, and even if they try to become a hegemon, they don't fulfill the requirements for being a sole superpower. Now, if you want to know what are those requirements, then check out my video. The link is in the description. Moving on, countries might follow their own path rather than embracing free market capitalism and democracy. We will witness extremely diverse and probably a chaotic world. There will be diverse type of economic model, and most attractive one will be state capitalism. I put state capitalism at number one because by this model, only China not just grew, but also displaced America from its position of being a sole superpower. They haven't yet displaced, but they're fully challenging America through this model. China's model of state capitalism is where the government has a heavy hand in directing the economy. Think of how they control tech giants like Alibaba or Huawei, ensuring these companies align with national goals. But again, it's not that everything is smooth in China. China has massive challenges like high debt and an aging population. China might need to evolve this model, perhaps focusing more on domestic consumption rather than export-led growth. Now, the problem with this is that these problems can't be solved. It's just too late for China. This is the reason why I said that there is nothing after Pax Americana. Countries will become inward-looking. Now, coming to our next model, that is social market economy. This model is adopted by Europe. So Europe's social market economy, particularly in Germany, blends market capitalism with strong social welfare systems. This model could seek broader adoption worldwide, especially as issues like workers' rights, climate change, and social equity gain prominence. The EU's Green Deal, aiming for carbon neutrality by 2050, is a real-life example of how economic policies can be shaped by environmental goals. The problem with this model is that this works only when everything is going well and the status quo is maintained. With war in Ukraine and deindustrialization of Europe, this model will probably not work in Europe. However, there is a possibility of this model working in regions like ASEAN if they successfully manage to industrialize and maintain a long-term status quo. Our next model is liberal market economy. It's the model which is followed by America. And guess what? This model won't be going anywhere, even if America is no longer a superpower. But this model might just evolve. Even now, discussions around universal basic incomes or stronger regulations on tech giants show a shift towards more inclusive capitalism. This model might persist, but with adjustments for modern era, focusing more on sustainability and equality. By the way, this model might be liberal and free only on papers, as we are currently witnessing globalization coming to an end. Countries are becoming more protectionist and embracing nationalist policies with their economy. Problem with these policies is that they are populist in nature and focus mostly on short-term gains. Now, the next model is cooperative and community-based models. In places like Argentina, cooperatives manage supermarkets and factories, emphasizing community welfare or profit maximization. This could grow in popularity, offering an alternative where economic activities benefit local community directly. Scandinavian countries, with their higher tax and high social benefits, provide a blueprint for this approach. Now, this model has elements of protectionism and requires a certain amount of infrastructure and consumption so that corporations can scale up their production in order to manage their profits. This model might work for countries which come under the category of middle income. However, countries like India and poor regions in Africa are just not compatible with this model. Digital and crypto economics can't be ignored. The rise of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies suggests a future where traditional finance might share space with decentralized systems. El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender is a bold step into this new economic frontier. This could lead to a world where financial power isn't solely in the hands of nation states. There are many drawbacks to this approach, as post-American world will be extremely chaotic and with no central command. In such situation, governments would prefer having more stable model. However, this model will exist parallelly. Now, talking about mixed economies, most countries will likely mix and match. South Korea showballs combined with government involvement in high-tech industries illustrates how mixing state guidance with market freedom can lead to economic dynamism. This model might just get adopted by low-income countries like India. Well, they still have such model in place, but it just becomes more protectionist, and state might force corporations to minimize their profits in order to accommodate a wider range of consumers, as consumers in India are of low quality and poverty is rampant. So these are some economic models which might get adopted. However, there could be innovations done in all these models. You probably observed that I did not say that this model or that model will be new reality, because nobody knows which model will be adopted, as there are too many options available. We will see a mix of models with different approaches, or just governments trying to get things right and not bothering much about any of these models. So the new economic landscape might look like there will be multiple economic centers, which means instead of one economic hubs, we might have multiple hubs. China with its Belt and Road, India with its growing consumption and tech sector, the EU with its collective might, and possibly new players like Brazil or Indonesia. Each region will come up with their own flavors. We will then witness currency competition. The US dollar might face competition from the yuan, euro, or digital currencies like Bitcoin. Countries could conduct trade in their own or regional currencies, reducing reliance on dollar. In this case, countries with more production and consumption will have better chance of having their currency go global. However, chances for in-currency going global is just close to impossible. Regional trade blocs agreements like RCEP in Asia could become more significant. Supply chains would likely diversify, moving manufacturing away from single country dependencies. Countries are trying to manufacture, however, not every country will be successful. Tech might not be centered in Silicon Valley alone. Bangalore, Berlin might not be an option as Germany goes on decline. But China, Shenzhen, could be new epicenters of innovation, each with their own unique focus. With no dominant economic force, market could experience more volatility as nations jockey for influence or resources. This will be the norm, and probably this will give rise to new conflicts around the world. And guess what? There won't be a single superpower or big daddy who will interfere and stop these conflicts. Every country and region will aggressively look for their own benefits. Existing institutions like IMF or WTO might see reforms, or new competitors like Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank reflecting shifts in power. Coming to real-world example and challenges. We have already witnessed Brexit. The UK's exit from EU shows how nations might navigate new economic identities, dealing with both challenges and opportunities of going solo in multipolar world. However, that was not the thought of UK. They are heavily dependent on EU for trade and America for security. I'm just trying to give you guys examples. Then we have China's dual circulation. This policy aims to bolster domestic markets while maintaining global trade, a strategic pivot recognizing the risk of over-reliance on exports. Africa is also signing deals like African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. This aims to shift Africa from series of fragmented market into large economic space, potentially making it a new player. However, it's close to impossible to have a stable Africa. There are many reasons behind it. Let me know in comments if you want me to make a video in details explaining about Africa's role in multipolar world. Moving on with inequality and job displacements. Without careful management, a multipolar economy could widen global economic gaps or disrupt traditional job markets through automation and new economic models. Well, to be fair, this will anyways gonna happen as countries become more protectionist in nature. Poor and weak countries will be on their own or with the minimal support. Cybersecurity will be a big concern for countries as economies digitalize. Protecting digital infrastructure becomes paramount, leading to new form of economic and geopolitical strategy. So in conclusion, what does this all mean for us? Well, a world without a singular economic superpower would demand more adaptability, innovation, and perhaps more international cooperation. It's a landscape where economic creativity could flourish, but also one where we could navigate new form of economic frictions and security. Countries will need to nimble, ready to adopt or adapt economic models that best serve their people while contributing to global stability. Whether this leads to a vibrant, diverse global economy or a period of economic turmoil depends on how we manage this transition. Unfortunate thing about all these things is that not every country will succeed. Many regions around the world will face hardships, decline, and new conflicts will be added. Thanks for sticking with me through this journey into the future of global economics. If you enjoyed this analysis, hit like, subscribe for more, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, keep questioning and learning. Peace out.